Brilliance Audio presents Her Last Breath by Hilary Davidson, performed by Sarah Malo Christensen and Will Damron. Part 1. Everyone sees what you appear to be. Few really know what you are. Niccolo Machiavelli. Chapter 1. Deirdre. I didn't know what to wear to the funeral. Any other day, I would have called my sister for advice, because Caro always knew the right way to do things. But she was dead, and I'd never hear her soft, husky voice again. After pulling every piece of clothing I owned, all of it black, out of the tiny alcove I used as a closet, I put on a tunic that could pass for a dress. Then I added tights and a cardigan that hid the tattoos on my arms. My feet went into a pair of expensive, impractical heels that could only have been a gift from my sister. Climbing the stairs out of my basement apartment in Queens, I felt queasy. But it wasn't until I took the subway into Manhattan and stood in front of the church that I felt like an imposter.
"Your name and invitation?"
demanded a uniformed security guard. "Deirdre Crawley. I'm Caroline Thraxton's sister." The guard said something I didn't catch because I was staring at the facade of the church, awash in déjà vu. Catholic churches with elaborate stone scenes of the Resurrection or Judgment Day were a dime a dozen. This one had the crucifixion front and center, rendered with a grim intensity that hollowed out my chest. "St. Vincent Ferrer," I murmured. This was the church where my sister had gotten married 4 years earlier.
"What was the number on the back of your invitation?"
the guard asked, clearly unsure whether he needed to be polite to me. I blinked, trying to picture it. Some Thraxton minion had couriered the invitation over at 6 o'clock Monday evening. "Remembering Caroline Ann Thraxton," it read, stark black type embossed on thick ivory stock. "Please join us for a memorial service and luncheon." It had chilled me, the elegantly thorny black vines winding around her name, ready to choke it. It started with a 7. There had been 6 digits on the back, but only one came to mind. I'd thrown the invitation onto my bookcase and hadn't glanced at it again.
"You need that code,"
the guard said.
"You can't get in without it."
At that moment, a switch flipped in my brain. I'd barely slept the night before. The truth was, I'd barely slept since my sister had died. I'd made it to the church on autopilot, aware of my own steps as a zombie. But this callous creep was the first obstacle I'd encountered, and all of my grief suddenly spiraled into rage. "My sister is dead, and you're not keeping me out of her funeral." My voice was razor-edged. As if sensing that I wanted to hit him, the guard pulled his head back sharply. I pushed past him and stormed up the steps. Inside, white roses bloomed like a pox on the dark wood of every pew. Guests in couture laughed and gossiped. There were white ribbons and tulle wrapped around towering bouquets at the end of every aisle. The church looked exactly as it had at Caro's wedding, and I felt as out of place as I had that day. It would have made me cry if the guard hadn't been breathing down my neck.
"She doesn't have an invitation,"
he said to whoever was listening.
"She doesn't belong here."
I tried to walk away, but he grabbed my wrist. I took a deep breath. "Caro, please forgive me for clocking a guy at your funeral."
"She's aggressive. She shoved me out of the way,"
the guard was whining as I turned, balling up my right fist. "Did she really?" answered a sly voice. "Consider yourself fired." I unclenched my fist as if disposing of evidence. There was Juliet Thraxton, broad-shouldered and big-boned, in a curve-hugging black suit with a pair of diamond pins in one lapel. Her platinum blonde hair was rolled up in a chignon and tucked under a feathered black hat with a short veil. It looked like a prop from an old movie, worn by a widow who'd paid some mope to shoot her husband.